Have you ever felt different, like you don't quite fit in? Maybe you've wondered why certain things keep happening to you, or why you feel a pull towards something greater. Well, here's a thought that might change everything. God chose you for a reason. Yes, you. It might seem hard to believe, but God's choice is often unexpected. He sees something in you that others might miss, something special that sets you apart. This isn't just about feeling good about yourself. It's about understanding that you have a unique role to play in this world, a purpose that only you can fulfill. Now, you might be thinking, me? Chosen? But I'm just an ordinary person. That's exactly the point. God often picks the people we least expect. Think about it, in the Bible, He chose shepherds, fishermen, and even tax collectors to do amazing things. So why not you? Being chosen by God isn't about being perfect or having it all together. It's about being open to His plan for your life. Here's the thing, if you don't pay attention to God's call, you might miss out on something incredible. Imagine having a gift you never open or a superpower you never use. That's what it's like when we ignore God's purpose for us. He's trying to get your attention, sending you signs and nudges. Maybe it's a recurring thought, a passion that won't go away, or opportunities that keep coming up. These aren't coincidences, they're God's way of pointing you towards your true purpose. So how do you tune into God's voice? It starts with listening, really listening. This means taking time to be quiet, to pray, and to reflect on your life. Look for patterns. What makes your heart beat faster? What problems do you notice that you wish you could fix? These could be clues to your calling. Remember, God's voice isn't always loud and clear. Sometimes it's a whisper, a feeling, or a series of small events that add up to something big. Let's break down how God chooses people. It's not like a job interview or a talent show. God looks at the heart, not just what's on the outside. He sees your potential, even when you can't see it yourself. Think of it like this, imagine you're looking at a garden. Most people might notice the flowers that are already blooming. But God sees the seeds that haven't sprouted yet, knowing exactly what they'll become. God's selection process shows up in everyday life more than you might think. Remember that time you felt drawn to help someone, even though you weren't sure why? Or when you had an idea that wouldn't leave you alone? These could be examples of God nudging you towards your purpose. He often plants these small seeds of purpose in our daily lives. History is full of stories about unlikely people doing amazing things. In the Bible, David was just a young shepherd when he was chosen to be king. Moses thought he couldn't speak well enough to lead people. Yet God chose them both for big tasks. Even today, we see ordinary people making extraordinary differences in the world. The single mom who starts a community project, the teenager who speaks up against injustice, the quiet neighbor who always lends a helping hand, these could all be examples of God working through everyday people. God's choice for you is unique. Your calling might not look like anyone else's, and that's okay. Maybe you're great at making people laugh, or you have a knack for solving problems. These traits aren't accidents, they're tools God gave you for a reason. Your experiences, even the tough ones, are shaping you for something important. Now, let's talk about why God chooses people. It's not random, and it's not just about making you feel special, although you are. God has a specific plan for each person He chooses. This plan is part of a bigger picture, like a giant puzzle where every piece is important. Your piece, your purpose, fits into this puzzle in a way that no one else can. So what's this purpose all about? It's about using your unique gifts, experiences, and personality to make a difference in the world. This doesn't mean you have to be famous or do something huge. Your purpose might be to be the best parent you can be, to create art that touches people's hearts, or to help your community in some way. The key is that it's something only you can do in your unique way. You might be wondering how this relates to your everyday life. Well, your purpose isn't separate from your regular life, it's woven into it. That job do you have? It might be preparing you for something bigger. Those challenges you've faced? They could be teaching you valuable lessons you'll need later. Even your hobbies and interests can be clues to your purpose. Finding your purpose is often a journey, not a sudden revelation. It's about paying attention to what makes you feel alive, what problems you notice in the world, and where your skills and passions intersect. As you go through life, keep your eyes open for opportunities to use your gifts. Sometimes, your purpose finds you when you're busy doing other things. It's important to remember that God's timing is often different from ours. You might feel ready for your big purpose now, but God might be preparing you for something in the future. Or maybe you think you're too old or too young, but God's call can come at any age. The key is to be open and ready when the time comes. When you step into your purpose, it affects more than just you. Your actions can create a ripple effect, touching lives in ways you might never even see. What kind word you spoke? It might have changed someone's entire day. The project you started at work? It could inspire others to make positive changes too. This is how God works through us to impact the world. Being chosen by God doesn't mean life will be easy. In fact, you might face more challenges as you step into your purpose. But these challenges help you grow stronger and wiser. They prepare you for bigger things and teach you to rely on God more. Every obstacle you overcome is shaping you into the person you're meant to be. There's a special joy that comes from living out your purpose. It's the feeling of being exactly where you're supposed to be, doing what you're meant to do. This doesn't mean you'll be happy all the time, but there's a deep satisfaction in knowing you're fulfilling your calling. It gives meaning to your days and helps you push through tough times. As you think about God choosing you, remember that He made you unique for a reason. Your quirks, your interests, even your struggles, they're all part of what makes you perfect for your purpose. Don't try to be like someone else or wish for their calling. Embrace who you are, because that's exactly who God chose. Finding and living out your purpose isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing journey of discovery and growth. You might fulfill one purpose and then be called to another. Or your purpose might evolve as you grow and change. The important thing is to stay connected to God, listening for His guidance and being willing to say yes when He calls. Now that we've talked about why God chooses people, let's look at how you might recognize that you're being set apart. Remember, these signs can be subtle. They're not always big, dramatic events. Often, they're quiet nudges or recurring themes in your life. Here are some common signs to look out for. One of the most common signs is a persistent feeling or idea that won't go away. Maybe you keep thinking about starting a community project, or you have a strong desire to help a certain group of people. This isn't just a passing thought, it's something that keeps coming back, even when you try to ignore it. It's like a little voice in your head that won't be quiet. For example, let's say you keep noticing homeless people in your area. At first, you might just feel sad about it. But then you start thinking about ways to help. You can't stop thinking about it. You find yourself researching homelessness and looking up local shelters. This persistent thought could be God's way of calling you to make a difference in this area. Another sign is when unusual opportunities start showing up in your life. These are chances to use your skills or to step into new roles that align with your growing sense of purpose. It might be an invitation to speak at an event, a chance to volunteer for a cause you care about, or an unexpected job offer that feels right. For instance, imagine you're good with numbers and you've been feeling a pull towards helping people with their finances. Suddenly, your church asks if you'd be willing to teach a class on budgeting. Then a friend asks for help with their taxes. These opportunities might seem random, but they could be God opening doors for you to use your skills to help others. Sometimes, God uses other people to confirm His call on your life. You might find that people keep mentioning the same thing to you, or they point out gifts in you that you hadn't noticed yourself. This could be friends, family, or even strangers who see something special in you. Let's say you have a way of making people feel better when they're down. You might not think much of it, but your friends always come to you when they need cheering up. Then your coworkers start doing the same thing. Even your boss mentions how you lift the team's spirits. All these people noticing the same thing about you could be God's way of showing you a gift He's given you for a reason. Sometimes, being set apart comes with a growing dissatisfaction with how things are. You might start to see problems in the world that others overlook, or feel a strong urge to make changes. This isn't just complaining, it's a deep-seated desire to make things better. For example, you might start noticing how much plastic waste your community produces. At first, it's just an observation. But then it starts to really bother you. You can't stop thinking about how to reduce plastic use. This growing concern could be God stirring your heart towards environmental stewardship. As God sets you apart, you might notice your heart becoming more sensitive to the needs and struggles of others. You may find yourself deeply moved by situations that you previously overlooked. This increased empathy is often a sign that God is preparing your heart for a purpose that involves helping others. Imagine you've always known that poverty exists, but suddenly you start really seeing the struggles of low-income families in your area. You notice the kids who don't have warm coats in winter, or the parents working multiple jobs to make ends meet. This new awareness could be God opening your eyes to a need He wants you to address. When God is setting you apart, you might feel a stronger desire to grow spiritually. This could mean wanting to pray more, read the Bible, or learn about your faith. It's like you're being prepared for something bigger, and you need to strengthen your spiritual muscles. For instance, you might find yourself waking up early to read your Bible, even though you've never been a morning person. Or you might start looking for books or podcasts about faith and purpose. This hunger for spiritual growth could be God's way of equipping you for your calling. Interestingly, sometimes being set apart by God comes with new challenges. These aren't punishments, they're opportunities for growth. You might face situations that test your faith or push you out of your comfort zone. These challenges are preparing you for your purpose. Let's say you've always been shy, but you feel God calling you to lead a youth group. Suddenly, you're faced with the challenge of public speaking and organizing events. It's scary, but each time you push through, you're growing stronger and more prepared for your role. Even as you face challenges or uncertainty, when you're on the right path, there's often an underlying sense of peace. You might not know exactly where you're going, but you feel confident that you're moving in the right direction. This peace is like a compass, guiding you even when the path isn't clear. For example, you might feel called to change careers to something more meaningful, even though it means less money. It's a big, scary step, but deep down, you feel a sense of rightness about it. This peace in the midst of a big decision could be God's way of confirming your path. As you think about these signs, remember that they might show up differently in your life. God's call is personal, and His way of setting you apart will be unique to you. The key is to stay open and attentive. Pay attention to the patterns in your life, the recurring thoughts, the opportunities that arise, and the way your heart is being shaped. Also, don't expect all these signs to happen at once or in a dramatic way. Often, God's call unfolds gradually over time. It's like a puzzle where the pieces slowly come together to reveal the big picture. When you start noticing these signs, it's important to respond. This doesn't mean you have to make huge life changes immediately. Start small. If you feel pulled towards a certain cause, do some research or volunteer. If you're sensing a call to use a particular skill, look for small ways to practice and develop it. Prayer is also crucial. Talk to God about what you're noticing. Ask for clarity and guidance. Be open to His direction, even if it's different from what you expected. Remember, being set apart by God is an invitation to partnership with Him. He's not just giving you a task, He's inviting you into a deeper relationship and a greater purpose. Don't be afraid to seek wisdom from others, too. Talk to trusted friends, family members, or spiritual leaders about what you're experiencing. They might offer valuable insights or confirm what you're feeling. Finally, be patient with yourself and with God's timing. Understanding your purpose and stepping into it is often a journey, not a destination. Embrace the process of discovery and growth. Each step you take in faith is bringing you closer to fully embracing the reason God has chosen and set you apart. Challenges of being chosen. Being chosen by God is a great honor, but it's not always easy. When you're set apart for a special purpose, you might face unique challenges. These difficulties aren't punishments, they're part of the journey that shapes you for your calling. Let's look at some common challenges and how they help you grow. One of the first challenges you might face is feeling different from others. When God sets you apart, you might start to see the world differently. Your priorities might change, or you might feel pulled in a direction that others don't understand. This can be lonely sometimes. You might feel like you don't fit in with your old friends, or that people don't get why you're so passionate about certain things. For example, imagine you feel called to live a simpler life and focus on helping others. While your friends are talking about buying new cars or going on expensive vacations, you're thinking about donating your time and money to causes you care about. This difference can make you feel out of place. But here's the thing, feeling different isn't bad. It's a sign that you're growing into your purpose. This challenge teaches you to be true to yourself and to the path God has set for you, even when it's not the popular choice. Another big challenge is dealing with doubt and uncertainty. When you're stepping into a new purpose, you might not always be sure you're on the right track. You might wonder if you heard God correctly or if you're really cut out for this calling. For instance, let's say you feel called to start a program for at-risk youth. As you start planning, you might have moments where you think, who am I to do this? Am I really qualified? These doubts are normal. Even great leaders in the Bible, like Moses and Gideon, had moments of doubt. This challenge teaches you to trust God more than your own feelings. It helps you develop faith that goes beyond what you can see or understand. Each time you push through doubt, your faith grows stronger. When you're pursuing God's purpose for your life, you might face more obstacles than usual. These could be practical problems, like needing resources for a project, or personal issues, like overcoming fear or learning new skills. For example, if you're called to be a peacemaker in your community, you might face resistance from people who don't want things to change. Or if you're starting a new ministry, you might struggle to find funding or supporters. These obstacles are like training grounds. They teach you perseverance, problem solving, and reliance on God. Each obstacle you overcome makes you stronger and more prepared for your purpose. When you're doing something different or stepping into a new role, you might face criticism from others. Some people might not understand your choices or might feel threatened by the changes you're making. Imagine you feel called to speak out against injustice in your workplace. Some colleagues might criticize you for rocking the boat or accuse you of trying to make yourself look good. This kind of pushback can be hard to handle. But dealing with criticism helps you develop thick skin and a strong sense of conviction. It teaches you to stand firm in what you believe, even when others don't agree. It also gives you a chance to practice responding to others with love and patience. Being chosen by God comes with a sense of responsibility. You might feel pressure to get everything right or to have a big impact. This can be overwhelming at times. For instance, if you're leading a Bible study, you might feel pressure to have all the answers or to say the perfect thing that will change someone's life. This pressure can be stressful and might even make you want to give up. But this challenge teaches you to rely on God's strength, not your own. It reminds you that while you have a part to play, ultimately, God is the one who brings about change and transformation. Each of these challenges plays a crucial role in preparing you for your purpose. They're like spiritual workouts, strengthening your faith muscles. Through these difficulties, you learn to trust God more deeply, develop perseverance and resilience. 3. Grow in humility and dependence on God. Clarify your values and convictions. Become more compassionate towards others who struggle. Remember, even Jesus faced challenges in his earthly ministry. He was misunderstood, criticized, and faced enormous pressure. But through it all, he stayed focused on his purpose and trusted in God's plan. Now that we've talked about the challenges, let's look at how to respond when you feel God calling you. Responding to God's call is a journey, and it starts with small steps. Here are some practical ways to embrace your purpose. The first step in responding to God's call is to listen carefully. This means taking time to be quiet and reflect on what you're hearing and feeling. Set aside regular time for prayer and meditation. Ask God to make His will clear to you. Try keeping a journal where you write down your thoughts, feelings, and any messages you feel you're receiving from God. Look for patterns or recurring themes. These could be clues to your calling. For example, if you keep feeling drawn to help children, write down specific instances when this happens. Maybe you notice yourself always volunteering for the kids' programs at church, or feeling especially moved by stories of children in need. You don't have to make huge life changes all at once. Start by taking small steps in the direction you feel led. If you think God might be calling you to serve others, start by volunteering once a month. If you feel pulled towards teaching, offer to lead a small group study. These small steps allow you to test the waters and gain confidence. They also help you develop skills and experience that will be valuable as you move forward in your calling. Don't try to figure everything out on your own. Seek advice from people you trust, maybe a pastor, a mentor, or a wise friend. Share what you're feeling and thinking with them. They might offer valuable insights or see things from a perspective you haven't considered. Seeking counsel doesn't mean you're doubting God's call. It's a way to confirm and clarify what you're hearing. Even the Apostle Paul had mentors and advisors as he pursued his calling. Responding to God's call often involves learning new things. Be open to gaining new knowledge and skills. This might mean taking classes, reading books, or seeking out experiences that will help you grow. If you feel called to work with immigrants, for example, you might need to learn about immigration laws or study a new language. Embrace these opportunities to learn and grow. They're part of the preparation for your purpose. Stepping into a new purpose can be scary. You might feel inadequate or afraid of failure. It's okay to feel this way, but don't let fear stop you. Remember, God doesn't call the equipped, He equips the called. Write down your fears and talk to God about them. Ask for courage and strength. Then, take small steps forward, even if you're still afraid. Each step of faith builds your confidence and trust in God. Understanding and stepping into your purpose takes time. Don't get discouraged if things don't happen as quickly as you'd like. God's timing is often different from ours, and there might be things He needs to do in you before you're ready for the next step. Use this waiting time to prepare. Develop your character, deepen your faith, and hone your skills. Trust that God is working, even when you can't see it. While it's good to have plans and goals, stay flexible. God's call might unfold in ways you didn't expect. Be open to new directions or opportunities that align with your overall sense of purpose. You might start out thinking you're called to be a teacher, only to discover that your real passion is in counseling students. Stay open to how God might refine or redirect your path. At some point, you need to move from planning and preparing to actually doing. Take that step of faith. Apply for that position, start that ministry, have that difficult conversation. Remember, God can't steer a parked car. As you step out in faith, He will guide your path. When you respond to God's call and start living out your purpose, you'll discover some amazing rewards. These aren't always material rewards, but they're deeply fulfilling. Let's explore some of the blessings that come from following God's plan for your life. One of the biggest rewards of living out your purpose is a deep sense of fulfillment. When you're doing what you're meant to do, you feel it in your soul. It's like finding the perfect piece to complete a puzzle, everything just fits. This doesn't mean every day will be easy or fun. But even on tough days, you'll have an underlying sense that you're where you're supposed to be, doing what you're meant to do. This brings a satisfaction that nothing else can match. For example, imagine you've been called to mentor young people. Even on days when the teens are difficult or progress seems slow, you'll have a sense that you're making a difference. This feeling of purpose can carry you through the challenges. As you step into your calling, you'll find your relationship with God growing deeper and stronger. You'll learn to rely on Him more, to trust His guidance, and to see His hand at work in your life and in the lives of others. This closer walk with God is like having a constant conversation with a close friend. You'll start to recognize His voice more clearly and see His presence in everyday moments. This deepening relationship brings a peace and joy that goes beyond circumstances. When you're living out your God-given purpose, you'll start to see the positive impact you have on others. This might be in big, obvious ways or in small, quiet moments. Either way, knowing that your life is making a difference is incredibly rewarding. For instance, if your calling involves creating art that inspires hope, you might hear from someone about how your work touched their life during a difficult time. Or if you're called to be a peacemaker in your family, you might see relationships healing and growing stronger. Following God's plan for your life leads to significant personal growth. You'll find yourself developing new skills, overcoming fears, and becoming more of the person God created you to be. This growth might involve becoming more patient, more compassionate, or more courageous. You might discover strengths you never knew you had or overcome weaknesses that used to hold you back. This personal transformation is a beautiful reward of living out your purpose. Living out your calling brings an element of adventure to your life. You'll find yourself in situations you never expected, meeting people you might not have otherwise met, and doing things you might never have thought possible. This doesn't mean your life will always be exciting in the Hollywood sense. But there's a thrill in stepping out in faith and seeing how God uses you. Every day becomes an opportunity for God to surprise you. When you live out your God-given purpose, you create a legacy that lasts beyond your lifetime. The impact you have, whether it's on your family, your community, or the world at large, can continue long after you're gone. This legacy might be seen in the lives you've touched, the changes you've helped bring about, or the example you've set for others. Knowing that your life has made a lasting difference brings a deep sense of satisfaction. One of the greatest rewards of following God's plan is a sense of inner peace. When you're living in alignment with your purpose, you're less likely to be plagued by doubt, restlessness, or a feeling that you should be doing something else with your life. This peace doesn't mean you'll never have questions or struggles. But underneath it all, you'll have a quiet confidence that you're on the right path. This brings a calmness to your spirit that can weather life's storms. As you continue on this journey of living out God's purpose for your life, there will be times when you need encouragement. The path isn't always easy, but remember, you're not alone. God is with you every step of the way. Let's explore some ways to stay strong and motivated as you pursue your calling. When things get tough, it's crucial to remind yourself of God's unfailing love and support. He didn't just choose you and then leave you to figure everything out on your own. He's right there with you, guiding and supporting you every step of the way. Take time each day to reflect on God's love for you. Read scriptures that remind you of His care and faithfulness. Psalm 139 is a beautiful reminder of how intimately God knows and loves you. When you're feeling discouraged, read it and let the word sink deep into your heart. For example, if you're facing a challenging situation in your calling, start your day by reading Philippians 4 verse 13, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." Let this truth empower you to face whatever comes your way. On this journey, it's important to celebrate every victory, no matter how small it might seem. These little wins are signs that you're moving in the right direction and making progress. Did you overcome a fear today? Celebrate that. Did you help one person? That's worth celebrating too. Each small step forward is bringing you closer to fully living out your purpose. Keep a victory journal where you write down these successes. On tough days, look back at this journal to remind yourself of how far you've come and how God has been faithful. Don't try to walk this path alone. Connect with others who are also pursuing their God-given purpose. These connections can provide encouragement, support, and valuable insights. Join a small group at your church, find a mentor, or connect with like-minded individuals online. Share your struggles and victories with them. Let them pray for you and encourage you. And do the same for them. For instance, if you're feeling overwhelmed by your calling, reach out to a trusted friend or mentor. Share your feelings and ask for prayer. Their support and perspective can help you regain your focus and motivation. Continual growth is a key part of living out your purpose. Always be open to learning new things and developing your skills. This not only helps you be more effective in your calling, but also keeps you excited and engaged. Read books related to your purpose area. Attend workshops or conferences. Listen to podcasts or watch videos that inspire and educate you. The more you grow, the more confident and capable you'll become in your calling. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. You can't pour from an empty cup. Make sure you're taking time to rest, recharge, and do things that bring you joy. This might mean setting aside time each week for a hobby you enjoy, making sure you get enough sleep, or taking regular breaks to pray and reflect. When you're well rested and refreshed, you're better equipped to handle the challenges that come with pursuing your purpose. When you're in the midst of day-to-day tasks and challenges, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. Regularly remind yourself of why you're doing what you're doing. Think about the impact your work is having, even if you can't always see it immediately. Create a vision board or write a mission statement that captures the essence of your calling. Look at it often to stay connected to your purpose and motivated to keep going. Setbacks are a normal part of any journey, including the journey of living out your purpose. Instead of getting discouraged by them, see them as opportunities to learn and grow. When you face a setback, take time to reflect on what happened. What can you learn from this experience? How can it make you stronger or more effective in your calling? Often, these challenging moments are preparing you for even greater things ahead. Make spending time in God's Word a priority. The Bible is full of encouragement, wisdom, and guidance for every situation you might face. It's like a roadmap for your journey of purpose. Start each day by reading a passage of Scripture. Meditate on it throughout the day. Let God's Word shape your thoughts, decisions, and actions. As you stay rooted in Scripture, you'll find the strength and wisdom you need to keep moving forward in your calling. As we come to the end of our journey exploring God's purpose for your life, let's take a moment to reflect on the amazing truth we've uncovered. God has chosen you for a reason. He has set you apart for something special, something that only you can do. This calling isn't about being perfect or having it all figured out. It's about being willing to say yes to God and to step out in faith, even when you're not sure where the path will lead. Your purpose might be big or small in the world's eyes, but in God's eyes, it's always significant. We've talked about the signs of being set apart, the challenges you might face, and how to respond to God's call. We've explored the rewards of following God's plan and ways to stay encouraged on the journey. Through it all, one thing remains clear: God is with you every step of the way. As you move forward from here, keep your heart open to God's leading. Stay attentive to the ways He's speaking to you and guiding you. Don't be afraid to take those first steps, even if they seem small. Remember, every great journey begins with a single step. Your purpose might unfold gradually, or it might become clear in an instant. Either way, trust in God's timing and His plan. He knows you better than you know yourself, and His plan for you is good. Don't compare your journey to anyone else's. Your path is unique, just as you are unique. Embrace your individuality and the special gifts God has given you. Use them to make a difference in your own unique way. As you live out your purpose, you'll face challenges and setbacks. But don't let these discourage you. Instead, let them strengthen your faith and deepen your reliance on God. Every obstacle you overcome is shaping you more into the person God created you to be. Remember to celebrate the victories along the way, both big and small. Each step forward is progress, and each life you touch matters. You may never know the full impact of your faithfulness, but trust that God is using you in ways beyond what you can see. Stay connected to God through prayer and His Word. Let His love and truth be the foundation of everything you do. And don't forget to surround yourself with supportive people who can encourage you and pray for you on this journey. As you go from here, carry this truth with you: God chose you. He set you apart. He has a purpose for your life that is beautiful and meaningful. Embrace it with all your heart. Step into it with courage and faith. Live it out with joy and perseverance. Your life has immense value and potential. As you align yourself with God's purpose, you'll discover a fulfillment and peace that nothing else can provide. You'll make a difference in ways you may never fully realize this side of heaven. So go forth with confidence, knowing that the God who created the universe has chosen you for a special purpose. Live each day with intention, always seeking to honor Him and to make a positive impact in the world around you. You are chosen. You are set apart. You have a divine purpose. Now go and live it out, for God's glory and for the good of others. Your journey of purpose starts now, and it's going to be an amazing adventure.